Good evening, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to another edition of Oilersnation After Dark. My name is Connor Halley. Aaron Bordado alongside with me as usual, keeping us on track. We've got a great show coming up for you following a fantastic Oilers game as they defeat the Boston Bruins 3-2. We'll have Tyler Yaremchuk joining us as well as BaggedMilk, maybe an appearance from Satan as well. We'll see what happens. The Edmonton Oilers, like I said, huge win. I see you people on YouTube and Facebook. Jessica, we did it. Woohoo, 100%. That's a game you have to get excited about if you're an Edmonton Oilers fan because going down 2-0, a tough game for Stuart Skinner, for a tough period. The way he was able to bounce back, compose himself, and then the team as a whole against the Boston Bruins, who've only lost 8 games in regulation going into this one. Unbelievable effort from the Edmonton Oilers in this one, and now they look to carry that momentum on to Saturday when they take on the Toronto Maple Leafs in Toronto. Of course, we'll break it down. We'll get all your comments across Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter as well. Make sure you hit that like button if you're on YouTube or Facebook. Right now, though, let's just get into it. Let's get to the recap before we get to the good, the bad, and the oily. And like I said, maybe not the best start for the Oilers. Actually, I take that back. It was a good start for the Oilers, but it didn't last long enough as Brad Marchand would score his 20th goal of the season. A soft goal squeaks through the pads of Stuart Skinner. From then on, the Edmonton Oilers would also go down 2-0. David Pastrnak and Stuart Skinner probably to blame on this one as well. Kind of reminiscent of Mike Smith and the bad times with Mike Smith. Playing with the puck, coughs it up to Krejci, and the Edmonton Oilers leave one guy open who you probably shouldn't. David Pastrnak scores his 45th goal of the season. Outside of McDavid and Draisaitl, this guy might be the best goal scorer in the NHL and buries it just before the buzzer. So after 20 minutes, the Oilers down 2-0. But there's no quit in this team. Evan Bouchard coming along like we knew he would. It was a 4-on-1. He looked off a couple other guys, scores his 4th goal of the season. Matthias Janmark picks up the helper there. Going into the third period, the Oilers were down 2-1, but Ryan McLeod get his 11th of the season to tie things up at 2 apiece. A great effort from Devin Shore on this one. Since Devin Shore has come back to this team, he's looked fantastic. I attribute part of it to wearing number 19. When you wear 19, you have to do big things, and he's doing it. And then Darnell Nurse in the chat, tell me how much money he makes. He got his 7th goal of the season, giving the Oilers the 3-2 lead. They would hang on despite a big rush from the Boston Bruins. Leon Draisaitl 1 assist. So between McDavid and Draisaitl, only 1 point, and the Oilers get a 3-2 win over the Boston Bruins. A good sign. Right now, we'll get to the good, the bad, the oily, brought to you by Cornerstone Insurance. Cornerstone Insurance Brokers, Edmonton's premier boutique insurance brokerage with over 90 years of success and still growing. Visit cornerstoneins.ca/nation to get an online tenant or condo insurance quote in just a few minutes and use the discount code NATION for an exclusive rate. Find out why Cornerstone Insurance Brokers is ranked amongst the best in Alberta. We got to bring in our guy, Tyler Yaremchuk, Oilers Nation, Daily Faceoff. He's feeling good, Tyler. What a game. What a game for the Oilers tonight.
I would like to bring up the tweet I had after the first period where I boldly proclaimed LOL absolute write-off of a game. It was anything but Connor Halley. That was, neither team had their best in that game, but still, that was an entertaining one to say the least.
100%, yeah. There's a lot we could pick apart there, but as we do here, the good, the bad, the oily, and we will get to BaggedMilk. He'll join us in a couple seconds here, but we'll rip through the good, the bad, the oily. The good tonight for the Edmonton Oilers, and we probably could have said Stuart Skinner there too for what he was able to do after the first 40 or after the first 20. But Ekholm, Bush, the combination there, Ekholm's been fantastic since he got here. It looked like Evan Bouchard was flying around out there. What did you make of those two tonight?
Yeah, I'm just pulling up their numbers right now. They looked really good. They played 16 and a half minutes at 5-on-5. They didn't get scored against, which is really, really impressive considering who they kind of had to go up against on a regular basis in that hockey game. Like, they took on that second line and went toe-to-toe with Krejci, Zacha, and Pastrnak and didn't really give them a ton. This duo of Ekholm and Bouchard, Connor, it's quickly becoming their best D pairing. And Nurse and Ceci were good tonight. Darnell Nurse scored the goal. I thought he made a couple of really nice defensive plays throughout that game as well. But the best pairing on this team is Ekholm and Bouchard, and they showed it tonight.
100%. Lots of texts here, messages coming in on YouTube, Facebook. Steve says, "Holy crap, Jay, can we get this guy a camera?" I think referring to me. Tyler, you and I are both
We're
trying to
working
get
on it.
cameras. We invested in one. I still haven't got it. So, Steve, we're working on it. We're working on it. Just hit that
We
like
got
button
one of
for
these
me.
and they're brutal. So that's
Yeah.
nice.
Well, at least you got
Like
yours. I'm
Tyler's.
still waiting. We'll find something. We'll improve it eventually. Maybe I can get a little clean. I
There
don't
you
think
go.
that did
There you
anything.
go.
Anyways, let's get to the bad. My camera. No, we're not going to use my camera as the bad. Last second goals. And that was a tough one. We know those goals that come, in the final minute are absolutely backbreakers. And this one, seems very avoidable if you're the Edmonton Oilers. A tough play for Stuart Skinner. And, you just don't want the puck to end up on the stick of David Pastrnak because, he's going to find a way to bury it.
Yeah, that was just all around a goal that can't happen. Stuart Skinner has to know better than to make that play. I feel like he probably could have gotten some better support from his D-men on that one because he just got stuck out there in no man's land. And then if you're a forward who's on the ice, like the part that's just puzzling for me is two D-men and a centerman. Okay, neither of the D-men or the centerman for that regard actually were open for an outlet pass. And then the puck gets turned over, and no one covers the only guy in the NHL who is north of 42 or 43 goals on the season. The guy's second to Connor McDavid. And what? You stood there and were like, I'm sure we're fine. There's 1 seconds left, and then boom, the puck's in the back of your net. That one was ugly, and that's why I tweeted after 20 minutes that it was a write-off because the officials seemed like they didn't want to call anything on the Boston Bruins, and I'm sure that'll be a topic throughout this show as well. But the officials didn't want to call anything on the Bruins. The Oilers, I thought, actually had a decent first period outside of those two little blips. So I was sitting there going, okay, we're through 20 minutes. You've had two bounces, absolutely not go your way. Skinner doesn't look like he has his best stuff tonight. And you actually played decent and outplayed the Bruins at 5-on-5. So I just felt like we were going to sit there and go, well, you played your first period. You played your best period in the first, didn't get the results. It's going to be a long night here. But again, credit to the Oilers in all regards, because I think it might have been Ryan McLeod who was on the ice for that. Don't quote me on that. I would have to double check it. But regardless, it wasn't him. It was Ryan McLeod. Sorry. So when you look at that, McLeod and Skinner were kind of the two guys at fault for that goal, and they both played huge roles in the comeback. So all in all, just the bounce back is how I want to play off the bad being that last second goal.
Yeah, maybe it's exactly what they needed to figure out what they needed to do to go on to victory. Take that spin there. The oily, before we get to BaggedMilk, has to be tonight McDavid's scare. And it goes knee on knee with Derek Ryan. My first thought was, that's it. That did not look good. I thought he might go down the tunnel. Toughs it out, though. Gets back out there at the end of the game. Has a chance to score another goal. Tyler, walk us through. What were you feeling at that point?
I mean, anytime you see McDavid go down like that, it's really scary, right? Because again, you don't know when injuries are going to hit, and these kind of things can happen. Knock on wood. But you see that, and when it's the knee, the knee specifically, right? When you see a guy grab it that quickly, it is not a good sign. And luckily, McDavid stayed on the bench, came out, looks no worse for wear, but it was a reminder of how quickly those things can happen and how quickly their season could have been flipped upside down. But thankfully, he stays in. He was out there late in the game, and we don't have to worry about it.
100%. Facebook, we got Byron checking in from Costa Rica. Byron, thanks for tuning in. Amanda was holding her breath on McDavid. I think everybody was. And Curtis has a stiffy. We can talk about that on Oilers Nation After Dark. All right, let's bring in BaggedMilk now. And looking just ripped. Looking ripped. I mean, after that one, 100%. No red wine tonight, BM?
Of course I got a glass of red wine. But you know what? When the Oilers have a comeback like that, you get down, you pop out a quick 20, you get a pump in, feel good, everybody's fired up. Come on. The Oilers just did what no other team in the NHL has done all season. They fed the Boston Bruins a loss when they were leading in the third period.
BM, the Bruins, when leading after one period this year, were 28-0-1. When leading after two, they were 35-0-2. And now there's a 1 in that second column, and it's all because of the Edmonton Oilers.
That was their third regulation loss at home. And like Tyler said early, it didn't look like it was going to go this way. Those first two goals, Skinner, buddy, I love you, but man, those were a little bit rough. Those were a little bit rough, pal. That one with what, 0.2 seconds left on the clock? Like, that can't happen. Fire that one into the sky. I don't know. Just lay on it. Do something. But yeah, it was that was a hell of a comeback. That's a huge 2 points for a team that they're going through a really tough stretch of the schedule right now. And they're making some work. They're putting the work in it. I like it. There's a lot to like here. This is a big win.
Well, VM, let's talk about Stuart Skinner here. And obviously you talked about like the first 2 goals, undeniable, just bad goals for him. But, he's still so young, just to show that composure, to keep it together and like not mentally break down or implode. He was fantastic when it mattered for the Oilers. And that's kind of what he's been like all season. I mean, he doesn't seem too often to let goals turn into 2 or 3 goal deficits. Like, he keeps it close and makes that big save when they need it.
Here's the thing about Stuart Skinner that I really, really love. Those 2 goals in the first period, they were a little bit rough. But then what did he do the rest of the way? He shut the door, locked it down, nothing else past him. And you got to like the resolve there. He didn't dwell on it. And I don't want to pick on Jack Campbell here. I really, really don't. But like, if he allows 2 rough goals in the first period, he's probably not locking the door for the final 40 minutes, especially against the Bruins. I don't think I'm being mean. I think I'm being realistic. So, Stuart Skinner, I appreciate that he did it. I appreciate that he shut the door. He gave the Oilers the goaltending they needed to come back against the Boston Bruins. You love it.
Tyler, at such a young age, I mean, does that surprise you at all for Stuart Skinner that he just, mentally so strong?
The thing I like about sort of his career arc, though, and this was a topic on Oilers Nation every day today, he went on some long playoff runs in the WHL, right? Like, when you look back through his stats in that league, there was a year he went to the conference finals or the finals with Lethbridge, and then there was the year he went all the way with Swift Current. So this is a guy who, even though he's only 24, has had some experience playing in big moments, big playoff games. And I know you're saying like, oh, it's junior hockey, it's not the same thing, but I would go ahead and say in those moments, that felt like the Stanley Cup playoffs for Stuart Skinner and for an 18, 19, 20-year-old goaltender at the WHL level. So I think he's had some experiences throughout his career that have allowed him to, maybe not get intimidated by big moments. And I'm sure throughout his 46 WHL playoff games, he's racked up 15 American League playoff games as well. There's been moments where things don't go well. And I really just feel like he's learned how to kind of how to park those things and move on, which is what BM said. We haven't seen that with a guy like Jack Campbell this year. Skinner is wise and mature beyond his years. And it's, again, just more signs of a true number one that the Oilers have here.
Yeah, Tyler, 50 games played in the Dub playoffs. I mean, that's pretty ridiculous for a guy, and like you said, just I guess we shouldn't be too surprised by this, and we'll see if it continues, but absolutely fantastic. Okay, BaggedMilk, I got to give a shout out to Devin Shore, because what he's been able to do as of late, I mean, he gets an assist on the game tying goal, but I mean, since he's come back and, racked up all those air miles for going back and forth between here in California, I mean, the guy's he's found his spot. And I can tell you guys, we had people kind of critical about Jay Woodcroft's decision not to bench him rather than Clem Costin. But, I mean, Devin Shore goes out there every night, just gives you everything he has.
I'm fired up. Since coming back, Devin Shore, come on. He's got a number change. He's wearing number 19. He's channeling his inner Justin Schultz. Come on. 3-game point streak for the guy. 3 assists, Winnipeg, Buffalo, and then tonight. Of course, Jay Woodcroft leaves him in there. Look at him go. Devin scored. Liam's fired up. Somewhere Liam tonight is just very excited about the banana.
He's in our chat.
Is he? Well, I guarantee that he is eating a celebratory banana in favor of Devin Shore. He's playing great hockey right now. That was a nice pass, too. He slipped it through. McLeod came through, banged it home. That's
that fourth line as a whole was just flat out unreal. Again, like they had shifts against Buffalo where they were dominating the Sabres, and then a bunch of stretches tonight where they looked really damn good, going head to head with one of the best lines in hockey in Marchand, Bergeron, and DeBrusque. And that trio just found a way to grind through and give the Oilers a bunch of solid minutes. They were on the ice for 6 minutes and 46 seconds. They outshot the Bruins 2-1, outscored them 1-0. You love to see that.
Just quick. Whoa, what was that?
I don't know. Do you recognize that song, Connor? I don't know where that was from. I heard it. The kids were talking about it.
No, I do not recognize that. I was impressed with Tyler. Cannot be phased.
I tried to rattle him, and he's unflappable.
Guy's a pro. Right now, the LA Kings lead the Avalanche 2-0. Not ideal, but the Sens up on the Kraken 3-0. Did you guys see the Stars put up 10 on Buffalo tonight?
I did. That was something.
What the hell? Oh, well. Anyways.
What did you say the score was in the Sens Kraken game?
3-0 Ottawa.
Yeah, 3-0. Wow.
So what is that? The Oilers are now tied with the Kraken, yes?
Well, it's early in the game still, but they could be.
Fingers crossed, Tyler. Come on, leave me alone, man. I'm
Fingers
excited.
crossed, yeah.
Excited.
Kraken will still have the advantage with win percentage, but tying points.
Vegas almost blew it against Tampa. I don't know if you guys saw that game either, but there was 2 goals in the final 2 minutes and 10 seconds for Tampa Bay, but Vegas finished it off in overtime. It would have been nice for Tampa to finish the job there, especially on a night when the Oilers kind of win a game that they kind of weren't supposed to when you look at it on paper. It would have been nice to have the out-of-town scoreboard break their way as well. It would have been the cherry on top.
Well, that's
no
just the
doubt
thing that's bothering me right now is that the Oilers they're coming up with wins like against the Bruins, but they may not gain any ground on the teams ahead of them, depending on what happens with the Kraken. It's just the Pacific is very tight right now, stressing me out.
Quickly here, just on the YouTube, 276 people there right now. That's I think that might be a high. So that just shows the star power that Yaremchuk and BaggedMilk bring when they join us here on Oilers Nation After Dark. That should get us at least like 120 likes. Make sure you hit that like button on YouTube. Electric Jordan asks, will we get a Satan cameo? I don't know. Satan kind of comes and goes. It could happen. We'll wait and see. I mean, he might have came after they won last time. I mean, Satan likes the party. I don't know.
You guys are looking for Satan? I just heard my name. First time caller, long time listener. Just wanted to chime in. Electronic Jordan called for Satan in the chat, so here I am, stepping in for BaggedMilk once again, carrying that fucking guy's mail. He just comes in here. Oh, I've got pics about Devin Shore and Liam's eating bananas. Meanwhile, Satan's doing all the heavy lifting. Listen. There was something that happened in the Oilers dressing room between periods. I'm not saying that they made a pact with me, but they may have made a pact with me. We all knew about the stats with the Bruins when they had the lead. And then what happened? As soon as Satan starts circling the Oilers' orbit again? Nobody ever gives any credit to Satan.
Thanks, Satan.
If someone just tuned into this show for the first time, wildly confusing.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we did a pretty good job of setting that up. Satan stops in. Electric Jordan got his wish. Satan, what did you think of, just the performance in general and what happened at the first intermission?
I thought overall the Oilers played pretty well. Listen, there's a couple of stinkers in the first period, but that happens to the best of us, am I right? But listen, I was going to get real mad at Derek Ryan in a very real way. I thought I was going to have to channel my dark thoughts. I thought I was going to have to pop his head off his shoulders and eat the gooey insides like a midnight snack. But thankfully, Connor's got an amazing ability to recover, so Derek Ryan can get on the plane and go to Toronto,
Yeah, exactly. Meet the Nation Vacation there, powered by AMA Travel.
They're fine folks at AMA Travel, Satan's booking a summer holiday. I'm looking to go down south, maybe hit up the beaches, have a couple of cocktails with some ladies. And the folks at AMA Travel, they helped me out. They found me a nice hotel. They got me a real nice deal on my flights. It's a real nice group of people over there. They're very talented.
Mike D, he says his wife's watching with him for the first time. Got a chance to see Satan. Satan, I'm going to ask Tyler a question here quickly. Tyler, Evander Kane, what did you think of him in his return?
Yeah, I thought he was good. I felt like there was a couple of plays he kind of made that were a little bit too cutesy, like a couple like blinded backhands. A couple times where there was a breakout pass to McDavid in the third where he could have just fired it right on his tape, but he just turns and flipped into the air. Like little things like that show you his body's 100%. He can make plays, but maybe he's just not quite thinking at the same level that all the guys who've been playing every second night for the last month are. So I think he'll get there. It was an encouraging first game, but he didn't, blow me out of the water or anything.
What do you think, Big Milk? Welcome back.
To be honest, I was writing the wrap-up, Connor. I wasn't really paying attention to anything Tyler said.
Fair.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I mean,
you're talking about Evander Kane.
Yeah, I mean, most importantly, he's back in the lineup. I didn't really have too many expectations of him like contributing in a real way after, he's missed some time again. You got to get the timing back. I was just happy he was there. The Oilers are a better team with him in the lineup. I put a couple of shekels on over at Betway for him to score just in case some magic happened. Didn't hit for me. But ultimately, the most important thing is that he's back in the lineup. They just got a little bit of swagger when he's in there. And even though, quiet night, he's got to get his timing back. He's got to get his hands back. Still played 18 minutes, couple of PIMs, 3 hits. He'll get there. He'll get there. I'm just happy he's back. He's missed too much time here.
Yeah. It is wild. And we talked about this earlier on a couple of shows today, I think, but he's going to end up with less games played in the regular season this year than he had last year. And he signed in like late January last year. It's crazy, but he's a guy. I mean, how he plays over the next 10 games really doesn't matter to me. It's all about how he looks come playoff time.
Yeah, 100%. I'm with you. And I mean, just getting there healthy. This season's been just so hit and miss for him with the health. I mean, obviously the wrist was a one-off, but the ribs, I mean, get healthy, be ready for the playoffs, and it kind of ratchets up a bit. Just for the people in the tech or the chat here, Lance, no, it's not a call-in show. I don't know if we have that technology to take calls. Satan, he's out of this world. He has that ability. So I don't know if we'll ever get into the call session here. And you mentioned Betway there. I mean, hey, if you had thrown down a couple bucks when the Oilers were down 2-0, imagine the payday you would have had. 19 plus. Bet responsibly. Jerome asks, where's Costin? Any surprise from either of you? I guess we'll start with you, BM, about Klim Kostin being the odd man out tonight.
I was, yeah. But then at the same point, like we just said a little bit earlier, Devin Shore's played really well. The guy's got 3 points in his last 3 games. So you don't want to take him a guy out of the lineup when they've got a little bit of touch going. So was I surprised that Kostin was out? 100%. But what are they going to do? Keep Evander Kane out? Somebody's got to go. It's only a matter of time before Kostin gets back in there. And it's probably going to be Shore that comes out again. The guy's been yo-yoing up and down between the NHL and AHL all season long. Let him get a little bit of glory. He's hot right now. I don't mind it, but I was surprised. Absolutely.
Ty, do you think Klim stays out long term, or do you think that? I mean, what do you think happens there?
It's tough, and I see people commenting that they want to see Klim back in, and I love him. Like, I think he brings so much to the lineup, but I also think there's a part of this that is you need to reward guys who are playing well, right? And I look at the candidates who could come out of the lineup. There's Yaremchuk, Shore, and Derek Ryan. Right now, you're not touching that fourth line. Devin Shore and Derek Ryan, Ryan McLeod, that trio's been unreal. Devin Shore specifically is playing some of his best hockey as an Oiler. Matthias Janmark had another good game tonight. Warren Fogle can't even be considered in the conversation because, I mean, let's park the jokes about him not being able to score on a breakaway here. That guy's playing the best hockey of his Oilers career, and he has been for about 12 to 15 games now. Like, the turnaround in Fogel's game has been incredible. Don't want to take him out. You want to let Bukestad get acclimated. Matthias Janmark's been good on the penalty kill, and he's been a demon on the forecheck. It's just wild that there's no space for him. And then we're talking about trying to get Klim Kostin, a 13th forward in. Okay, well, what if Jay Woodcroft wanted to go back to 11-7? Then he's pushed really far down. What's going to happen when Dylan Holloway is healthy, Connor? This is depth, and it's beautiful.
When was the last time the Oilers had depth like this, where like there was outrage about a 13th forward not getting into the lineup? Like I think we all missed the Oilers dynasty, so we don't really recall that one. I don't know if the 06 team had it. Like these are good problems, BaggedMilk.
Really nice problems. And look at who scored tonight. I know they weren't all forwards. There was one by Bouchard, first in 43 games, by the way, for Dad. Shout out to him. And then Darnell Nurse gets one, but none of the goals, I guess my point is, came from Connor, Leon, Nuge, and Zach Hyman. That's great. These are great problems to have. So if we have a guy, again, like I was saying about Devin Shore, he's on fire right now for Devin Shore. Devin Shore is on Devin Shore fire. And I don't mind Jay Woodcroft rewarding him for the way he's playing. I think it's a good thing. And then there's going to be competition. And then maybe he slips and then Koskinen slides in and Koskinen goes on, Kostin goes on another run. I hope Mikko Koskinen does go on a run, you know?
Me too. I'm a big fan of Logano. Been watching them closely.
We're a pro Mikko show.
Always a pro Mikko show. And a cheesy gordita crunch, damn it.
We had someone text into our show, my day job, saying, like, can the Oilers go one goalie and dress a 13th forward, which we thought was pretty funny. Outside the box thinking. Don't think he can do that, though, so that's not
how
work.
about this one from our boy Sergeant Battle, who says just go 16-2, play Ekholm and Bouchard the whole game. I mean, why not? And listen, there's people in the chat who are saying, like, Klim Kostin is way better than Devon Shore. And listen, like, I agree. I think if you are putting them toe-to-toe, skill level, what they can bring to the lineup when they're both playing their best, Klim Kostin is much better than Devon Shore. But throughout the course of a regular season, you ride the hot hand, and I do think it sends a great message to a guy like Devon Shore, who is loved in that room. When he's playing well, you keep him in. And that's just one of those things. Klim's going to get a chance. Someone's going to get hurt, or Devon Shore or Matthias Janmark or Derek Ryan are going to have a bad game, and Kostin will get his chance to, guess what? Do exactly what Devon Shore is doing, which is get in there and force your way into the lineup and force Jay Woodcroft to keep you there. And that kind of internal competition is the sign of a really high-end team.
Looking here on Facebook, Kyle Yamamoto's name's popping up a couple times. There, Quincy says, looks like a mouse trying to fight cats. Bassam says, take out Yamo. What have you guys made of Kyler Yamamoto? Ty, let's start with you this time.
I don't know. I don't really understand the beef with him. Like, I know there were a lot of people who like to jump. They like to jump to the Jesse Puljujarvi thing, right? Where it's like, oh, if you were on Puljujarvi for not finishing his chances, then you need to be on Yamamoto for not finishing his chances. And the differences are Yamamoto will get a clean shot off. He'll miss the net. He'll hit the post. He'll get robbed by the goalie. Puljujarvi was getting chances and falling down, and not to, punt a guy or, hit a guy on the behind while he's leaving town. But the quality and the way they execute those scoring chances is wildly different. Kyler Yamamoto is what he is. He is a 20 to 22 goal scorer in the NHL. That means he's going to have heaters where he scores 6 or 7 goals over a 10-game span, and he's going to have 12 to 13 game stretches where he doesn't piss a drop offensively. That's going to happen. That's what a 20-goal scorer is in the NHL. And I feel like people have these unrealistic expectations of Kyler Yamo. Like, he should be a 30-goal guy. Like, he should be Zach Hyman at whatever age he is, making $3 million. And that's just not it. And I see people in the chat being like, LOL, like this one in Facebook, LOL, more like 5 to 6 goals a year. Kyler Yamamoto scored 20 goals last season. The year before that, it was 8 and 52. He's got 8 and 41 this year, and he's been banged up. He's a 20-goal guy. Like, come on.
I think it's very funny. Like, we're talking about an Oilers win over the Bruins, and this is where we're going with the conversation. Like,
well, right.
I know Kyler Yamamoto's a streaky scorer. He has been the whole time, but in his last 5 games, he had a game against Winnipeg where he had 3 points. He had a goal against Toronto last week. The boys are playing in Toronto on Saturday. Tyler, you and I are going to be there. But, like, this is what you get with Kyler Yamamoto. He's going to give you his entire body's worth of effort. He is always going to hustle for you. He's going to score in bunches. Sometimes he's not. My concern is, can his body hold up? But in terms of his play, I don't have a hard time with Kyler Yamamoto tonight. Like, again,
nitpicking.
Depth goals got the Oilers the win today. Doesn't matter who gets them always. Like, Darnell Nurse, give the man a raise, right? Tyler, you've been saying it.
I have been. I've been saying $19.25 million is what they should be paying him.
I was just going to say they should give Yamamoto $9.25 million because he deserves it. But honestly, like, we did this show, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, and people, like, he was getting abused in the chat. And I just said, hey, he's a streaky scorer. The goals will come, and they typically do. And he had 3 goals in the next 2 games. And sorry, just pat myself on the back here. But, like, that's just who he is, right? And Ty, you said it, 20-goal scorer last year. He had a slow start to the season as well. So that's just kind of who he is. He'll have nights where the production's not there, but there's going to be nights when he scores that crucial goal. It's funny now because, we talked about who could come out so Clean Costin could get in. We had another message here on Facebook, and it was that Broberg should be in there instead of Vinny Desharnais. Now, you guys are going to be in Toronto, living the sweet life. Free booze, I think, up in that luxury.
No, not free food. Free food.
Not free booze?
Soft drinks, I believe. We can have all the Coke Zeros we like.
But no booze.
Okay, I take it back. Free food, free beverages, but not adult beverages. I mean, do you make any changes to the lineup, BaggedMilk?
Do you? When you just beat the Bruins? I don't know. I'm always of the mind, like, why fix what's not broken? The Oilers just, and I mean, let's be honest, there were times where you looked at the TV tonight and you're like, for fuck's sakes, like this is going wrong or that's going wrong and the Oilers are doing this wrong. But ultimately they beat the best team in the NHL on the road. And I think you reward that lineup with another appearance again on Saturday in Toronto. I don't think that's unfair. I think that you run with Skinner again. Sorry if people were expecting a Jack Campbell hook coming in Toronto. Don't give it to him. I want Stu in there and I want the same lineup. It makes sense to me.
Ty, what do you think?
They beat the Bruins tonight, and that's great. But you're kidding yourself if you're saying they played their best hockey game. There are guys that can come out of this lineup. I understand rewarding the win, but I think you can nitpick a little bit. And I don't.
To me, Tyler, I'm going to give you a spank.
I don't like the idea of Philip Broberg sitting out this long. I want to get that guy back into a game at some point, and I think Vinny Desharnais is maybe plateaued a little bit over the last week or so. So
what do your pairings look like? Let's run through it. If you're bringing Broberg in, I'm into it.
I'll flip Kulak or Broberg to their offside and play them together. I'll do it for a game against the Leafs. I don't think that it's the biggest deal in the world to do that. I would keep the forward group the same because I just don't see anyone who's worthy of coming out. But I don't think, again, against a Toronto team that skates really fast, taking Desharnais out for Broberg is probably a pretty good matchup play as well. And I don't know if they're going to go with Jack Campbell, but oh man, and Skinner played so well. So it's a tough call. I could just see a world where they go with Jack for that hockey game. So I'd put Broberg in, and I'm just saying I wouldn't do it. I'd play Stu, but I wouldn't be surprised if they go with Campbell.
I'm not going to be surprised if they go with Campbell, but I also I don't care about a grudge game. I care about 2 points. Like we talked about earlier, what the Pacific Division standings look like right now. It is way too tight to be even thinking about giving up points. Like Steve Pollard here says, Kulak out, Broberg in. Why not? Take McDavid out. Put Broberg up there.
For me, it'll be like you have still 16 games to go this year. You need to be keeping an eye on the playoffs, and you don't want to burn out Stuart Skinner. This is a game where Jack Campbell should really be trying to get up for it. You should, if he's any sort of a competitor, you should get your best Jack Campbell on Saturday. And after this, it would be only Arizona starts for Jack Campbell. And I agree, you can't give up points, but you don't want to overwork Stuart Skinner. So this feels like a spot where you can kind of say, we'll go with the other guy here.
I just don't think they're overworking Stuart Skinner because after the game on Saturday night in Toronto, they've got 2 days off until they come home and play the Ottawa Senators on Tuesday at Rogers Place. There's time for Stu to get a couple of days off. I want the points. And unfortunately, I can't trust that Jack Campbell's going to give us the best opportunity to win. The Oilers can score 6 and they'll still manage to lose. And I don't want to give up the points. Toronto's beatable. They did it last week, 10 days ago, whatever it was, 11 days ago.
Hear me out though, BM. We're in Toronto. They start Campbell. It's the easiest over bet of our lives, and the drinks are paid for.
Well, okay. Damn it, I'm in.
Yeah, that is a good point, Ty. Betway, of course. And just to throw my 2 cents in there, I don't know if I'd be surprised. I would be disappointed. I'm kind of with BaggedMilk here. Love to see Stuart Skinner go again. I don't know when that opens up. Like he said, maybe the Coyote starts for Jack Campbell, but we shall see. You're both getting some love for your kind of counterpoints there regarding the Oilers' goaltending and who might get the start. We'll see. Campbell goes out there and rises to the occasion. That'd be fantastic. We got some people saying we're being too negative, so I want to throw some positivity out here. You can get Oilers Nation stickers at Oodle Noodle. Did you guys know that?
I'm learning that now.
Oodle Noodle. Oh, go ahead, Big.
I recommend that you go to all 18 locations and pick one up at each.
I think so. Because all locations in Edmonton are giving away free Oilers Nation stickers to fans. Visit an Oodle Noodle location today to snag a sticker and some tasty noodles. BaggedMilk. What should they order? What are you thinking?
What do they order? Well, it depends. I'm a big spice guy, so I go with the hot box, a little bit of shrimp. It's nice. Green onion cakes and a drink. that is a fine little meal for yourself. You're gonna really
I'm not a
enjoy
big
it.
spice guy, so I go Tokyo glazed double beef.
Love that too.
Sounds delicious. Also, next Saturday, it is Oilers Nation's 15th birthday bash. That should be a nice, cool, calm affair, right? You guys are going to take it easy?
Yeah.
Sip some red wine?
Yeah, we don't put the sound on for the game because we agree. We just want to keep it quiet and a nice hush tone throughout. I got my pro serve. So if you buy your ticket to the Pint next Saturday, I'll be serving up drinks behind the bar for a little bit. That's why I have one poured for myself. I'm practicing for next Saturday.
Keep on practicing. Tickets, $20.07, 2007, in support of Free Plate for Kids. You get entry to the Party of the Year to watch Edmonton take on Seattle. Also a swag bag, including an exclusive Oilers Nation nostalgia tee, and you can raffle to win some prizes. Nationgear.ca for tickets. BaggedMilk. Will Satan be in attendance there?
Listen, Satan will be anywhere you want him to be. And the problem is getting him to leave when he shows up. So I've got a feeling that, yes, he probably will be at the 15th anniversary party because if I'm being honest, he's part of the reason that this whole company exists in the first place.
Listen, you're not supposed to be giving company secrets out anymore, but yes, Connor, I'm going to the party. I wasn't invited, but I know where the back door at the Pint is. I'm going to wander on back in there. I'm going to go into the kitchen, and I'm going to be licking all the chicken wings, and they're going to be delicious. And then I'm going to go up to where Tyler's making drinks, and I'm going to order a Cosmopolitan, because I'm going to order myself something delicious. And Tyler said he's going to actually learn how to make it for me, and Satan's so excited.
It's going to be a hell of a party.
Raising money for children.
It's going to be a hell of a party. Nationgear.ca for your tickets. Jessica on Facebook agrees. Green onion cakes are the best. Yeah, I mean, Oodle Noodle getting a lot of love in the chat. I mean, hey, if you want to, just let us know what's your order at Oodle Noodle. I mean, that's advice that can go help out a lot of people. There's almost 300 of you in here. I don't know what our like total is at, but if you haven't done so yet, make sure you hit that like. Liam is going to bed. Liam, have a good night. I'm sure the guys will see you tomorrow. And we talked about it a little bit, but you guys heading out to Toronto early on. Early flight, I believe, Jay said.
Afternoon flight. We don't fly out till 3:40 p.m. now.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a little in the schedule tomorrow.
You know what? Maybe he never told me it was early. Maybe I just made that one up. Before we wrap up here, why don't we bring in producer extraordinaire Aaron Bordato? We'll do a couple predictions here. I just want to say I had the Oilers winning 4-2 with a shootout goal. Or, sorry, empty net goal. Not shootout, empty net. Connor McDavid kind of screwed me on that one, but that's okay. So we'll start with BaggedMilk. Let's get a score prediction for Saturday night in Toronto, Hockey Night in Canada. And one Betway bet as well.
I'm going to go with the 4-2 win. Lock that one in. Just put a couple of shekels on that. It's going to pay out real nice for you, I promise. Then as for a bet, I'm looking at over 1.5 power play goals. That's going to be an easy one for you. You're going to tuck that in your jeans. You're going to save that for later.
So down to Tyler Yaremchuk. Your turn, buddy.
Yeah, this is a real easy one for me. I've dug into the numbers. I've gone over the spreadsheets. It's over 59.5 face-offs in the hockey game.
Oh, God, not this.
It's a lock. It's a lock. That's it. That's my bet. You can bet it on Betway. So there you go. Take over 59.5 face-offs.
Do you have a score prediction?
My score prediction, I'll say it's high scoring, 6-4 Oilers.
Nice. Aaron?
Yeah, well, I think, like as Tyler said, if Jack Campbell's playing, you hammer that over no matter what the line is. But honestly, I'm probably going to hammer that over regardless. And I do see a lot of goals being scored. I'm seeing another dominating Oiler victory. I'm going 6-2, and BaggedMilk and Tyler have one hell of an evening.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lock. I'll take a 5-2 Oilers win. McDavid, 3 points. Back in his hometown area. Yeah, I think McDavid's going to go off in front of the crowd there. And the Oilers skate their way to a nice victory on Saturday. Once that game wraps up, probably around 7:30, give or take. We'll be back here for Oilers Nation After Dark. Aaron, I think you'll be with me on Saturday. And I think we've got Zach and someone else.
Oh, it's Gavin.
Gavin? We got Gavin?
I get Saturday night off.
You
I
get a
might not
Saturday
be in
night off.
Toronto, but I'm gonna sure pretend like I am.
All right. Well, enjoy that. Bagged Milk, Tyler. Thank you guys for doing this tonight. Appreciate it as always.
Yes, hit the subscribe button, people.
Yeah, like and subscribe.
Tell your friends.
100%. Before we wrap up, just get a quick more shout out to Cornerstone Insurance. Check them out at cornerstoneins.ca/nation to get an online tenant or condo insurance quote and use discount code NATION for an exclusive rate. AMA Travel, of course, they're setting up the Nation vacation out to Toronto. AMA Travel is fantastic worth. They'll take care of everything for you. The Oilers Nation 15th birthday bash, if you want to go to that next Saturday, hang out with the crew, nationgear.ca, and finally go to Oodle Noodle. Order some noodles, get some good food, and pick up your free Oilers Nation sticker. Also, Betway 19+. Bet responsibly. That'll do it for another edition of Oilers Nation After Dark. I'm Connor Halley. On behalf of Aaron, Tyler, Bagged Milk, thank you guys all for tuning in tonight, and we'll talk to you on Saturday.